So can you explain what satsang really is? Because these days we cannot meet or sit in front of a realized soul. We can only read their books. So I would like to know whether reading their teachings will be some sort of a satsang. Everybody says you have to sit at the feet of a great master. But how many of us will be fortunate enough? It depends on all our good deeds. What hope is there for people like us who can't travel?
See, this question itself is arising from a sense of bondage. This last sentence that you spoke, what hope is there for people like us?
Mm.
The very thought that there is no hope or little hope is binding.
Because repeatedly I read that satsang is of great importance.
I will come to that later.
Yeah.
So the thing is like this, that all of us are free because as our own inner self, as our Atma, God has chosen to live inside us as us. That is why the Mahavakyas, the great statements in the Vedanta say, or the Vedas say, Soham, you are that. I am Atma, Brahma. This self is nothing but divine and is supremely free. But this is the Leela. Your name is Leela. So this is the Leela of God. That even though we are essentially free and God is essentially free, but when He comes and takes birth in the form of a jiva, He deliberately invites Maya. And under the influence of Maya, there is a sense of limitation. What is the limitation that a jiva has? My intent has limited power. So just by making an intention, we cannot create. If God makes an intention, that intention immediately fructifies. Creation happens. But our intent has limited. So we may make an intent that I will have money, I will have this and that, but it may bear fruit, it may not bear fruit. There is a limitation. Then there is the limitation in jnana, that our ability to know things with our mind has a limitation. Because real knowledge comes only when the mind is bypassed. Mind has merged into the heart. That is why they say that spiritual journey is from the head to the heart. But because there is a limitation and we normally use our mind to understand or grasp knowledge, there is a limitation there. And our ability to do the kriya is also limited. So we are limited in all respects. In our intention, our knowledge, and also our action or manifestation. So because we are under the influence of Maya, this thought comes that there is no hope for me. But fact of the matter is that there is already hope, because one is God himself, or the divine herself. It is Devi herself who has manifested here in our form. Our nature is divine. And that is why Saint Francis has put it very beautifully. He said, "The one whom you seek is the one who is seeking." So, as Leela, the limited Jiva, there is this thought and desire or intent: when will I find my oneness with God? But who has planted this thought? Because our nature is divine, that thought has been planted by the divine to start the spiritual search where the oneness is found. So number one, to have this thought is great, but to have this thought that there is no hope, that is where that we ourselves are creating a serious limitation.
I get it now.
So you just banish this thought,
Mm.
because each one of us is essentially free. When we are covered by Maya, then we think it is not possible, or I need to have something more. So that is one thing. Now coming to satsang. What is a satsang? So satsang. So if you look at it, satsang is company of the truth. Now what is the company of the truth? People normally think that satsang is company of people who are looking for the truth. Now that company is no doubt supportive, but it is not conclusive. Because when we are in the company of 10 persons and we ask those 10 persons, each one of them separately, why have you come to this satsang? What is it that you are seeking? And you ask this question, sure enough, all those 10 persons will give 10 different answers. Why? Because each one is seeking the experience of truth in his or her own unique way. So something that will work for one person will not work for another. So the purpose of satsang is to find the truth, and the truth is right within us, inside us. So satsang in true sense becomes a continuous satsang on the inside. So when we are trying to figure out the company of the truth on the inside, that is real satsang. Outer satsang is no doubt supportive, because when we go to a satsang, there is a common energy. Like very often in this program itself, I say that thank everyone present here. Why do we say that? Thank everyone present here. Because this is a satsang. Each one may be sitting in their home, maybe hundreds of miles apart, may not have really met one another, and yet just by being here in the cyberspace, we are connected through our respective energies, and that is the satsang. So Leela ji asked this question, and she has, I think, the connection is gone. She's not there. So this is the satsang. So even though we are not face to face. We are not sitting in somebody's drawing room having a chat. This is satsang because we are bound by a common energy and a common intent. Now, how does satsang help? I just reminded of a story that my Gurumai Swami Chidvilasananda said once. How does satsang help? So you go to a satsang, you hear some pravachan, something is being said, and certain thoughts or certain ideas, they are dropped in your awareness. You remember a few things here and there. And this story is very instructive. There was a thief, and under the advice of his many friends, he went to a satsang. And the Swamiji was giving a talk. He found one statement very interesting. He said, when you come to these, Leelaji, welcome back.
Internet went off.
It doesn't
So now
matter.
it has come back now.
We are
Just
recording, so
I'm
you can
so
watch
sorry,
the,
I missed a lot.
no, it's all right. You can watch the session later. So, so he went to this satsang and the Swamiji was giving some pravachan, and a very interesting observation was made by the Swami. He said, you know, when these astral bodies, the Devis, Devatas or whatever, they appear before you, they are transparent beings. They don't cast a shadow. So this thief, who had never experienced anything like that, he found this statement very interesting and he remembered it. It so happened that, you know, a lot of thefts were happening in the city where he was, and everybody somehow knew that this fellow is after all these thefts. But there was no evidence, so he was not being caught, and finally the security in charge of that city, he took a decision. He said, let us put this fellow behind bars, and that will put an end to all these thefts that are happening. And we can take him to task, take a confession from him, and be done with this man. So he was arrested, he was put in a dungeon, he was tortured, he was interrogated, but he was a very stiff fellow. He did not let out any secret. He did not admit to any of the thefts. They just did not know what to do with him. So the Shahar Kotwal, or the security in charge, he had some friends, and one of these friends turned up to him one day and he said, look, I am a good magician. I can do a few tricks. And I can make this fellow confess to what he has done. So would you permit me to take a chance? And this fellow very happily said, yes, you do. So this fellow was sleeping in his cell. There was a small opening with some rods were there. It was where it had been removed. And from that end, this magician, this trickster, jumped, dressed as a woman in very gorgeous dress. And this thief got up from his sleep and he saw this Devi-like figure, and he stood. And this trickster, dressed as a woman, he spoke in the voice of a woman and said, I am the goddess of the thieves. And you are such a faithful disciple and servant. I have decided to bless you with my vision, and I am here to give you a great blessing. Now the thief did not believe what was happening. He was so elated from the inside. And he was about to bow down and fall at her feet, at the feet of this apparition. And suddenly he noticed that this Devi ji who had appeared before him, she was casting a shadow on the ground. And he remembered the Swami's words that these astral beings, the Devis and the Devatas, they don't cast a shadow, they are transparent beings. So he was just about to fall at the feet of this apparition, and he suddenly straightened up and he said, I am not a thief. You have come to the wrong person. And no matter how much this trickster tried, this fellow did not budge. And finally, this trickster went back and he told the Shahar Kotwal that, look, this fellow may be anything, but he is not a thief. And finally, he was released. He was very happy, he was going home, and suddenly it hit him. And he said to himself, I made one visit to a satsang, and I got out of this prison. So if I go to a satsang more often, maybe I will find a way out of this prison that this world is. So this is the beauty of satsang. So when we go there, it is the common energy field. There are certain things which are happening. And because of that strong energy field, something happens. There is an inner shift and we change. Our journey of life takes on a totally different hue, becomes a different context in which we start living. Now again coming back, but this is a story. Stories gives you symbols, some guidelines. It is true that it is not possible for us elders to go to a satsang, to meet a master, to sit at the feet of the master, to have an very intimate conversation, ask questions, receive answers. So what should we be doing? So we take the course that is available. So if there are books written by the masters, we read them. Because the book has been written by the words is spoken or written by the master, they carry the intent of the master. They carry the energy of the master. So when we read, we get connected and something begins to shift. But if our search is strong, then that shift brings about a revolution. It brings up questions. We should not be reading books, we should not be going to a temple, we should not be doing anything for the sake of comfort, for deriving comfort. When the search is real, it is disturbing because every day we are going to assess ourselves and see where we stand. And that brings me to the other point, that you read the books of Ramana Maharshi who says, drop out of sense of doership. And then the real seeker comes up with this question, that I keep reminding myself, I am not the doer, but this is a statement. being given to me by my mind. I don't feel it. So when this starts happening, that means you are having an inner satsang. The search for the truth is manifesting in your inner journey. So satsang has to be for transformation. And there I can share another story which my Guru Mai had told us long back. I think I have shared it on this forum at times, but no harm in repeating it. That there was a Lalaji, a grocer. He had been going to a satsang for decades. And he was well respected. Everybody sort of admired him for finding out time to go to the satsang day after day, week after week, year after year. And one day his son, who was growing up, he was a 14, 15-year-old boy, he told his father that, look, you have been going to the satsang all these years. Give me one chance, I will go. And the father said, okay, you go. Now this boy went to the satsang, and again there was a pravachan going on, and the Swamiji or the teacher, whosoever was there, he said, this whole universe is a reflection of God. Know it as that. I am Atma Brahma. And this boy was very receptive. His heart was filled. He came back home or to his shop thinking about it. How wonderful. Everything is God. And he came and sat in his shop. His father was yet to come. He opened the shop, sat there. And there were these grains, sacks full of grains, which were kept in the front side. And there was a cow that was passing by. And the cow came in close to the shop, and she started eating mouthfuls of wheat or rice or whatever was kept there in the sack. And this boy, who had just heard that all this world is a reflection of the divine, and he said, oh my God, what a wonderful event is taking place before my own eyes. This cow is God. This grain is God. God has come. God is consuming this God in the form of the grain and feeling very happy. And I am God. I am seeing this happening before my own eyes. It is so blissful. And suddenly his father, this great Satsangi father, arrived. And he immediately lost his temper. So first he hit the cow with his knee in her stomach, and the cow immediately ran away. And he was carrying an umbrella, and he came into the shop and hit this boy a few times with the umbrella, and he said, you idiot, what is it that you are doing? You are sleeping with open eyes. And this boy said, oh my father, look what a divine transaction was taking place here. God was hungry, God was eating, God was happy, and I as God was watching all this Leela, and I was so happy. And admonishing the boy, the father told him, look, if you have to go to a satsang, I have no objection, but go there as I have been going for the last 30 years. So what's the point? You go to a satsang. If you want to transform, one satsang is enough. Otherwise, 30 years, 40 years, you go there, it becomes a social gathering. So we must really understand what satsang is. And if the focus is on transpersonal transformation, then just the book of a master is enough. There is another very wonderful tool. In the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, it is said, Vitarag Vishayam Va Chittam. So what does Maharishi Patanjali says? How would you attain yoga? How will you get into the state of union with God? Say, Vitaraga Vishayam Va Chittam. Put your mind on those persons who have risen above this world, who have become Vitaragi. Vitaragi does not mean having become a sannyasi. It becomes a person, it means a person who is in this world but who is not of this world. He has understood the reality of this world. So he does not belong to this world. He is just participating in what is happening. So Patanjali has given a very beautiful one sutra definition of satsang. When you put your mind on somebody who has attained freedom while living, those qualities which whomsoever we focus on, we come to have their qualities. So if you focus on a great spiritual master, the qualities of that master you attract. You want to be a thief, you focus on the master thief. You want to be a politician, you focus on the master politician. Whatever you want to be in life, you find out who is the expert and start focusing on that. But if you really want to have satsang, then you find out who is the person who appeals the most to you as a realized being and just focus on that person. It can be a Buddha, it can be Jesus Christ, it can be Lord Vishnu, it can be Lord Ram, anything, any form that you believe in, just focus, pray and surrender. Life will change. And how beautiful it is that God has given all of us so many choices, millions of choices. And we can do that. So what happens that when we start focusing, initially it will be an outer kind of thing, an intellectual thing. But gradually the inner satsang will start, because that master, that God, that person, that guru will start working from inside our heart. And our lives are surely going to change. And when we start focusing on somebody whom we think is spiritually elevated, or a master, then what happens? Initially we approached him with the mind. The mind is full of questions, doubts. So what happens when we go to somebody and we are very learned? Everybody, thanks to Google Pandit, everybody is very learned these days. So when we go there, we try to hear the other person and compare notes. So we want to check, is this fellow saying the same thing? Is he or she saying the same thing that I already know to be true? And if he is saying the same thing which I already know it to be true, then he is good or she is good. Otherwise, there is a problem in acceptance. But the rule of spirituality is that normally when you are meeting a master, the master will say something that does not gel with your intelligence. Your mind will not be able to accept the master so easily. And masters do it deliberately. Because what is the role of the guru? The role of the guru is to destroy your mind. Your mind is standing between you and God. You are God. But it is only the mind that is not allowing you to see the God, have the experience of God. And that is why in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra it is said, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. When your mind is still, there are no ripples in the lake of the mind. The reality, the divinity inside you, it becomes obvious. You are that. You go to a lake on a day when there is a lot of wind. You look at the surface of the lake, there will be so many ripples and you can't see anything as to what is inside the lake. But you go to a lake on a particular day when it is a windless day, no wind. The water has settled down completely, no ripples on the surface. And then you can see through to the bottom of the lake. You can see the reality, what is lying inside. So in this lake of the mind, when there are no thoughts, there are no ripples, then you know your own divinity. That is the purpose of satsang. So how do we transcend the mind? Of course, the mind is there, so we start with the mind. But when we start with the mind and we keep searching again and again and again, then there will be a point when we can transcend the mind and experience the reality as it is. So this is satsang. And it happens when there is a continuous inner satsang. Like, that day somebody shared that I cannot do anything regularly. There are many people who have this problem. But they are elevated beings, so they are searching. So even though they may not be involved in rituals, they may not be doing so many mantras, chanting this, that, pujas, visiting temples, doing this, doing that, yet at a subliminal level the search is going on. So inner satsang is happening. So as long as there is this satsang, the inner search for truth, you are in good hands. Because your masters are guiding you from inside. And you will ask the right questions, you will get the right answers. But if the satsang is like a comfort, like that businessman who had been going to a satsang for 30 years, he hadn't learnt anything. So if somebody goes to a satsang and he is trying to use that satsang as a peg of whiskey in the evening, some people just want to relax, so they have something which will just take their mind away to something which is comforting. That satsang will not yield result. It's an inner quest. And as times change, as our abilities change, those things change. How we can reach that state of inner satsang, that can change. But if our quest is there, our own gurus, our own inner guru will create circumstances where we can fulfill that quest. So that quest is important. If the quest is there, then God and Guru will create some circumstances, some help. They will create those things whereby you receive what you are looking for. Nobody goes without support. Nobody is left alone. So that's it. So since we are on this question of satsang,
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very, very much.
so just close your eyes. Become aware of the center of your being. Wherever you think the center is, it can be the point where the breath is dissolving and from where the breath is starting. It can be somewhere you fix your attention in the middle of the forehead, eyes looking upwards, wherever you think. But if you really look for that center, you look for God, you cannot pinpoint a particular station within your body or your mind. That God is here. You cannot feel, you cannot touch, you cannot catch hold of God. Why? Because this entire body, your breath, your mind, everything is a manifestation of God. Everything is a manifestation of Guru. God performs 5 functions: creation, maintenance, dissolution, concealment, and grace. And all those 5 functions are carried out by the Guru principle. So in the lives of some of us, the Guru may have appeared in some kind of a physical form, but there may be persons who may feel connected to a master who once walked on the path, who walked. So somebody may be a devotee of Sai Baba, somebody may be a devotee of Kabir Das Ji, somebody may be a great worshipper of Ramana Maharshi, somebody may believe in Christ, another person may believe in Buddha. No matter whom you believe in, just hold the image of the Master in your heart. Feel the Master's presence in your heart. And see how your consciousness is getting more and more effervescent. You can feel the energy and vibration rising. Just by imagining the presence of the Master in your heart, you begin to see this world from the eyes of your Master. So in the same way, bring your attention to the soles of your feet and your toes. And just say to yourself, these are the soles of the feet and toes of my Master. Experience what is happening there. Bring your attention to your ankles. And bring this awareness that these ankles are the ankles of your Master. Be with your calf muscles. Think of these muscles as if these are the muscles of your master. In the same way, go on establishing your master in every limb of your body. So begin with your knees. These are the knees of your master. Be aware of your thighs. These are the thighs of your master. Be aware of your hips. And buttocks. These are the hips and buttocks of your master. Become aware of the area of the genitals. Transpose the master in that area and have the awareness that these are the organs of my master. Bring the awareness of your Guru to your lower back. Install the master in every organ of your abdomen. So begin with your kidneys, your intestines, your spleen, your liver, your gallbladder, install your Guru in your lungs, and say to yourself, these are the lungs of my Guru. Install the Guru in your physical heart, and feel that this is the Guru's heart. In the same way, go on installing the Master in other parts of the body, your shoulder blades, your upper back, your rib cage, your chest, especially the upper chest, your throat, become aware of your mouth and the tongue. Bring the awareness of the Guru to these organs. Bring the awareness of the Guru to your chin, your lips, your cheek, your nose, the two eyes, the area below the eyes, your eyelids, the forehead, your ears, the top of your skull. And now sit with this awareness that the body you have is the body of the Guru. Pay attention to your breath and have the awareness that the Guru is breathing through you. It is the Guru's breath that is moving in and out. Pay attention to your senses one by one. And attribute the functional abilities of the senses to the Guru inside you. Imagine how this world is going to be if you are seeing the world through the Guru's eyes. If you are talking to others through the Guru's speech. If you are enjoying your food through the Guru's taste. You are smelling this world through the Guru's nostrils. And you are experiencing the sense of touch through the Guru's sense of touch. In your mind's eye, hug whomsoever you want to hug. But have the awareness that through you the Guru is hugging them. Let your awareness travel inside into the cave of your heart. Feel that you are standing outside the cave and there is this great magnetic pull of energy which is drawing you inside. And as you walk in, you discover the most exquisite place. That is shining This cave is encrusted with the best jewels, each adding to the shine of the place. And before you there is a wonderful seat or chair, just like a throne. And your master is sitting there, looking very, very compassionately at you. Approach the master very gently. Kneel down before him or her and offer very respectful pranams. The place is full of great grandeur, and there are things which can be used to do offer a puja to the Guru. So worship the master, offer your respects to the master in whatever way you can or you wish. Say to the master whatever you wish. The master is like the mother who is only interested in your welfare, and you can share anything that you wish. And once you finish, just sit before the master in silence. If the master speaks, listen to what pearls of wisdom come out of him and make a mental note to imbibe the teachings and to live life accordingly. And if the master does not speak or keeps silent, do not be disappointed. It is only an indication that you will receive an answer at an appropriate time through appropriate signals or symbols, because the master never abandons a disciple. So just be in a state of readiness whenever the occasion to receive the master's answer arises. So offer your gratitude to the master. Say whatever you want to say. And now it is time to take leave. And the Master bids adieu with a raised hand in Abhay Mudra. It is an indication that the Master's energy is always there with you. Very respectfully and gently get up. Do not show your back to the Master and retrace your steps very, very deliberately and come out of the cave of the heart. Take a few moments to understand what kind of event has happened and how every single cell of your body has been raised to a very high energy and vibration. The Master has installed a good bit of himself or herself inside you. So just come back to the body and still meditate upon the Guru by becoming the Guru. This is real satsang. You are in the company of truth, the undiluted truth that is not colored by your ideas and your thoughts, which is known by the heart. Rest in your heart for a while. Just listen to this particular stanza from the Shiv Manas Puja. Atma tvam girijamatihi sahachara prana shariram gruham पूजाते विषयोपभोगरचना निद्रा समाधि स्थितिः संचारः पदयो प्रदक्षिण विधि स्तोत्राणि सर्वा गिरो यद्यत् कर्म करोमि तत्तदखिलम् शम्भो तवाराधनम् करचरणकृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वा पराधम् विहितं विहितं वा सर्वमेतत् क्षमस्व जय जय करुणाब्धे श्रीमहादेव शम्भो जय जय करुणाब्धे श्रीमहादेव शम्भो जय जय करुणा श्रीमहादेव शम्भो सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Take a few deep breaths and very, very gently bring yourself out of meditation when you can. This stanza from Shiv Manas Puja I chanted. It speaks of the inner satsang. Though it is addressed to Lord Shiva, but Shiva is the eternal Guru, the first Guru. And the devotee says, "O Lord, you are my inner self. Let my intellect be your consort, Devi Parvati. Let the prana which is keeping me alive be your companions, your attendants, your servants. Let this body be your house. Let whatever I speak be your stotras, your hymns, Whatever I eat, drink, or howsoever I satisfy my senses, let everything become an act of puja, the worship of the divine. Wherever I go walking, let that be the parikrama, the circumambulation of a holy place. No matter what tasks I perform, let everything be surrendered to you, O my Lord. And then finally he adds that I am still learning. So there will be times when through speech, through my mind, or through the senses of action, I may commit certain acts which will be inappropriate, and it may happen knowingly or unknowingly. And for that I seek your pardon, O my Lord. So this describes the attitude of a person who is continuously trying to abide in himself or herself by means of an inner satsang. So if that happens, even ordinary acts or daily chores can become satsang. They can become means of diving within and knowing the truth, our own innate reality. So you can open your eyes. Anybody wants to share anything? Was it okay? Or how was the meditation like? Sometimes people find it really, well, they are not very comfortable with installing the guru because we think that, oh, the guru is somebody very high. But even though when we think that the guru is somebody very pure, unattainable, out of our reach, but when we install the guru, in everything that we have, it becomes divine. That's a wonderful experience. So anybody wants to share something? No? Then we will close. Okay. So thank you everyone. We'll meet again on Monday. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is off. Monday we'll meet. Good night.